Joined by Jack Cunningham,
JC.
some back pages. All right, Jack?
JC.
Evening, lads. How you doing?
I'm good,
right,
mate. I'm good. Some stories. I'm going to start with one which has absolutely killed me, and I've just seen it. Kulusevski out of the Europa League final. He's undergone surgery on his knee. This is an absolute wounder.
Yeah, it's not good news if you're a Tottenham fan, is it? So basically, I'm sure you saw Kulusevski played on Sunday for
I don't know why he played
about 20 minutes, and then he went off, didn't he, for Mikey Moore. And immediately Ange Postecoglou said, he thought it was just precautionary and he was going to be fine. You got to remember, Ange said the same about James Maddison as well. And then we got a bit of news from Alex Crook sort of earlier on this afternoon saying he was a doubt for the final, saying he was undergoing some painkilling injections in his knee. And then about half an hour later, Tottenham tweeted that Kulusevski is out. He's had surgery on his knee and he's out for the final. Oh. And I've got to look at the Tottenham midfield now, and I'm just like, where is the creativity? Where's the creativity?
I don't know. I don't know, mate.
No Bergval, no Kulusevski. You've got what the midfield's going to be: Basuma, Bentancur, and Sarr, isn't it? Which is just
what I kind of think you play Bentancur further up. But like when I heard Maddison was out for the season, you go, you know what? It's a killer, Maddison. Losing him, he's been half decent for us this season. But we got Kulusevski. Yeah. He's come back in, he's getting fit, and he was our shining star really at the start of the season. To lose him, man, I'm like, oh my God, because Kulusevski destroyed Man United at Old Trafford, destroyed them. So to lose him is an absolute killer blow, mate. And now I look at it and go, oh, mate, we're going into this final on the last leg.
Well, what sort of team are Spurs going to put against? They got Villa on Friday. Friday night. I've got Chelsea. And
Daniel Levy's going to phone me, mate. I reckon. I reckon I get a game.
Bad news for him. JC, back page of the Sun. Slot flirts with Wirtz. Liverpool join Florian Fight. Cop talks on same day. Star agent, his dad, sees Manchester City. They're talking around about 120 million of your finest English pounds.
Yeah, which would be a British record, because the current British record is Moise Caicedo from Brighton to Chelsea. So £126 million they're saying for Florian Wirtz. I mean, look, he is an outstanding footballer. If you remember how good he was at Euro 2024 for Germany. Obviously, they did get knocked out in the last 16 by Spain, but I thought he was one of the shining players in the tournament. It was amazing. And he's had a great season for Leverkusen. They've obviously not won the league, but he's got 10 goals, 12 assists. But ultimately, Bayern Munich feel like he is going to go there. Alex Crook again reporting that Bayern Munich are still confident that they will get Wirtz ahead of Liverpool and Manchester City, and it'd keep up that run of Bayern Munich continually stealing the best players from the Bundesliga and just maintaining their domestic dominance. I think it'd be interesting if they do get Wirtz, because then I feel like Jamal Musiala might suddenly become potentially available, because then I don't know how you're going to fit them all sort of in the team. You've also got Leroy Sané and Kingsley Coman as well. So if Wirtz does end up going to Bayern Munich, you could see some of these other players end up in the Premier League anyway. If he does end up in the Premier League, one of Liverpool and Manchester City are getting a ridiculously good footballer who can play basically in any attacking position and would massively improve both teams. I feel like if Liverpool got him, it'd be the perfect signing after you've won the league, sort of strengthening from being title winners rather than kind of letting yourself drop off. And Wirtz would be that player. He'd come in and replace Dominic Szoboszlai, wouldn't he, playing that 10 role, and he'd transform their attack.
Okay. Back page of the Mirror, we've got back me or sack me. Ruben Amorim has vowed not to quit Manchester United, but admitted he could be sacked if results do not improve.
Yeah, I feel like Amorim's talked about this all the time, hasn't he? He's basically said numerous times that he thinks that if it doesn't improve next season, Man United should fire him. He also said, and he's also repeatedly said that the Europa League doesn't save their season. And it's interesting that he's got that view from his own personal point of view. He seems to be almost like sacrificing himself for the club, which is I'm sure Manchester United fans really admire and like. I think he's been almost overly negative almost all of the time, though. I feel like the way he talks about Manchester United and the club is so, I don't know, just as a fan, I don't know, sometimes I would be inspired by what he's saying realistically. Look, it all comes down to that on Europa League, though, doesn't it? It's same for Tottenham. If Tottenham win the season, you can say, well, look, we've won something and win the Champions League. If Manchester United win, look, we've won something and win the Champions League. Whoever loses it's got to go down as their worst ever Premier League season, basically, for... Yeah, I mean,
it's a disaster
it literally comes down to one game, doesn't it? It comes down to one game.
I think it's worse for Ange. I think Ruben doesn't get sacked if he loses, but I think Ange does.
Yeah.
I do.
I think he gets sacked if he wins it.
Huh?
If he wins it.
Yeah, even if he wins it, he might, but he's got better chance of keeping it. Yeah. Just on talkSPORT, what's the biggest stories tomorrow?
So we've got Gary O'Neill is currently leading contender to become the new Norwich manager.
Okay.
So obviously O'Neill was at Bournemouth and Wolves. Did a good job with Wolves initially in his first season. It didn't go too well this year. Got sacked when they were in the relegation zone, and obviously Vitor Pereira's come in and totally saved that club. But Gary O'Neill did do a decent job at Bournemouth as well before Andoni Iraola came in as well. So Norwich looking for a new manager. They didn't have their best championship season. They finished 13th. Jack Wilshere was in interim charge for a bit, but O'Neill is the leading contender. And then another one that's really interesting is they've interviewed Pep Linders as well, which is obviously Jurgen Klopp's former assistant, and he was at RB Salzburg. That was his first chance at being a manager, and it ended absolutely terribly for him. He didn't last very long at all. They were terrible in the Champions League as well, but he's been interviewed as well. And then also we've got the fact that Dean Huijsen is almost nailed on to now go into Real Madrid for £50 million. So that's going to end, what was potentially going to be a long transfer saga, just him going to Real Madrid. And look, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, you're going to have to move on. We're going to have to look for other centre-backs because when Real Madrid come calling, you don't turn them down.
No, you don't.
Simple as that.
Jack, you're a star, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, lads. Pleasure.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.